Radio Free Cybertron.
Transformers.
Rewind.
This week on Transformers Rewind, it's Madman's Paradise.
Please welcome to Cybertron, Inara, ambassador from the planet Odessix.
What a darling post-embryonic form.
Darling? Yuck. If I may be excused.
Sure, but stay out of trouble and keep the tuxedo clean, okay?
Preferring to wander around aimlessly over participating in intergalactic diplomacy, Daniel sets off looking for someone to play with. Like a 20 megaton metallic puppy, Grimlock follows behind.
You get the feeling nobody's been here for a while?
They find themselves in a strange, unexplored part of Cybertron.
Neat monster!
Not monster, handsome like me, Grimlock.
Now what did he do?
Make mistake.
Thanks to Grimlock, they are transported to another realm.
Me, Grimlock, feels surrounded.
There they find wondrous creatures and terrible monsters.
Who are you? We fight for the Golden One. Oh, us not fight for anyone. Not like noise, but taste okay. Hurry! Take them to the stockade!
Grimlock!
I could make use of such brute power.
What is
In the
your
castle,
name,
the Red Wizard tells Daniel and Grimlock
I'm
of the
Daniel
evil
from
Red
Cybertron.
Wizard, who is probably a different
Red Wizard fell from the sky through a strange red circle.
That's how we got here.
He was taught
What
his
a
craft by the
coincidence.
former ruler of Manonia, the Golden One. Indeed, he was the Master's favorite pupil. The Golden One vanished mysteriously. There was only one thing the Red Wizard could do. Rule Manonia in the Golden One's place.
What? Where am I? Hey!
Water! Please! A little water! Please! In the name of the Golden One! That way! Go! Quickly!
It's a battle! And that's Grimlock, isn't it? Defending the castle!
Then our man Dan ought to be in the neighborhood.
Just ahead is the cave where the Golden One is imprisoned. If only we could move the stone.
With the assistance of Ramhorn, the Golden One is freed.
Last, the light! You have done well, pupil. So you're free, are you? Well, you've emerged to meet your...
The Red Wizard is revealed to be the exiled Konosan. Neat.
Isn't there any way to stop him?
Counter spells, but I am too weak to make them heard. Blaster, amplification. Just speak into that device, you'll be heard.
Rolling a d20 on his skill check, and amplified by Blaster, the Golden One drops some mad beats and defeats the evil Quintesson. And they all lived happily ever after.
Dad, it was an accident, honest.
Daniel tell truth. He not mean to get all dirty. What's so funny?
Okay, JD, tell us why you're wrong, and what you, and what you don't like about this episode, and we'll correct you.
It's just so
odd. Like I mean, okay, I get the whole like beginning ceremony, the diplomatic thing, yada yada. Okay, because Spike, a kid that, okay, yeah, you interacted with Transformers, therefore you get to interact with alien stuff. Okay, great, cool, whatever. But the whole like Daniel and Dinobot, okay, that's funny enough. Put the idiot kid and the idiot robot together. That's not Wheelie, But then all of a sudden, it's like they open a random door, and then they're in like an Egyptian tomb, and then there's like just a portal hanging out there that's been hanging out there since, Quintesson times, where they used to teleport off their people to faraway places. And it just sort of like, were they trying to get market share from like the Dungeons and Dragons animated show, and like trying to bring that over or something? Because this is just like a complete fantasy. It's like the Autobots wanted to play D&D, and what? It's just weird. It does weird.
It's really like interesting. Season 3 is when they start going to different dimensions and planets and places and interacting with different cultures. Like it's surprising when you actually look back at it and break it down how almost non-existent that is in season 2. Like the biggest season of all of them, and it's Earth or Cybertron, and like one time they go to Saturn and a planet of giants, and that's like it. And Monicus.
Please, but then they go to those places and do awful things like blow up their planet or
they fixed Minonia, didn't they? Minonia was better at the end of this one.
Sort of.
Yes.
It was the evil tyrant king wizard.
they posed him. Okay.
The Autobots helped slaughter thousands and thousands of innocents who were on the side of right.
Yes. Before that part, they did kill everybody. Like there was the whole middle part where like all the Autobots are like, yes, crush the weak people. And then they're like, wait a minute, that's the bad guy.
Nah.
Well, notice they don't get a parade in their honor. They leave quickly.
Yes.
Right. They're like, it's been really fun, and we gotta go.
They do get a laugh in, though, at the end of the episode.
Oh, Daniel, you managed to get genocide.
The other thing is, like, I forget about the occasional times where they had, like, the 70s sitcom endings to, like, these episodes.
So Transformers wasn't that bad for it, but I have been watching the original Turtles, and every freaking episode ends that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Michelangelo, you fell over. Hi, hilarious.
Oh, why am I frozen in the sky like this? Get a doctor, get a scientist.
Yeah.
But no, it's just I don't know. Maybe that's why I don't like season 3 either. It's just so weird. Just weird.
Are you telling me that using karaoke to support your magic isn't the way to go? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it's a little weird. Propagation. Yes.
I was sitting and looking at this, and it was just really what's really weird to me is that there is so much music in this one from seasons 1 and 2. It's actually kind of off-putting. And it occurred to me that I always tend to think of season 3 as a separate show from 1 and 2 because it is so different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the new tracks in season 3 don't start until Nightmare Planet. Like all of the episodes before that from season 3 all do have the season 1 and 2 music in them exclusively. And it is weird. Even then, it is still weird when you go to watch a season 3 episode and you hear none of that techno stuff, that electronic stuff that they created for season 3. It's kind of jarring.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the animation in this one, It's
one of the interesting things about this episode is that a lot of the people who worked for Sumbo at the time also worked for D&D as designers. So that's why in season 3 they're allowed to go full tilt out on some of the conceptual designs. The tree men that become centaurs is brilliant. That's pure 80s D&D right there. And that hits me in a very special place because that's my memory of D&D, this weird out there, completely bizarre conceptions of what a fantasy world should look like. So you get this kind of chance to have Marla Luther, Quintesson wizard, I love that word. I love the term quintesson wizard. It's so good. You have him stuck in a fantasy world. You can just go completely and utterly off the rails.
I love his wooden robots.
Yes!
I love like the first thing a quintesson makes when he lands in this fantasy land is robots, because that's what his race builds. They make robots. But he doesn't have any metal. He makes them out of trees and wood and shit. He makes wooden robots. I love that. That's a great... And they never actually... It's actually... symptomatic of the writing in the episode itself, where at no point does anybody go, look, wooden robots like a quintesson would have made. You know, it's a script that actually really doesn't talk down to the viewing audience. Like when you get the Golden One's pupil. It is Mara Alutha himself telling the story of Minonia. And what he's saying does not match up with what's happening on screen, and you understand from that he is lying to Daniel, and you're seeing what really happened. But they never have anybody say, you know, they don't spell it out for you. You're relied to make the connection yourself when you're looking at the, and they never, you know, they don't hammer home the idea of the quintesson exile or anything. Like they mention it, and then they go there, and then it's like, holy crap, where's the quintesson? They don't trail it, they don't tease it, they don't make it thuddingly obvious that that's what it is by repeatedly poking at it. They just set the pieces up, and you know, paying attention, you'll figure it out. But it's a surprisingly well written episode from that point.
Who was doing the exiling? Was it the quintessons themselves, or was it Autobots?
No, it would be quintessons. Presumably, I mean, the idea would be that he was exiled here because he was a practitioner of sorcery.
No.
That's great. I mean, how great is that? Like the quintessons, this horrible, business-like, mechanical, orderly race who build, buy, sell, borrow, and steal. And then this one guy's like, what about magic? Get to... They just kick him into another dimension because they won't have anything to do with it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I really wish in some fiction that was revisited, because they implied that was done several times, like to an ice world.
The 3H comics, they mention in this one, is it Albadur? I think it's Albadur. Who gets sent to an ice world?
Yes.
Or is it Murdian? Well, they mention a quintesson gets sent to an ice world anyway, and that quintesson shows up in 3H's BotCon comics to explain their take on the whole Primus quintesson origin connection as well. And did the other quintesson show up in the conclusion to Wreckers that Fun Pump published? I think he might have done. Yeah, it's in there. You know, they did revisit the idea of the other dimensions anyway.
I just want my third-party wood-looking robots. Where's that?
Which ones?
You know, the ones that he built in the episode. The wood-looking.
Don't you have like a lot of Warhammer crap? I mean, can't you just go to your closet and grab something from there?
Sure. No.
Allow me to introduce you to a certain thing called War Machine. I'm sure there's some wooden robots in that. Tum-ti-tum-tum-tum-tum-tum, just enabling.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Are you sure? I can send you pictures.
No,
it's fine.
No, that's fine.
Do you know what the best thing about this episode is? On top of all the other
ending?
awesome...
When it's over.
There is no joy in your heart. What do? Just go outside and stare at the throwing seed down for pigeons in the street and getting them with a stick. Just enjoy it. There is joy. There is joy in this episode. There's a quintesson. Say the word with me. Quintesson wizard. It's brilliant. Right? There is nothing. I love quintessons. I love wizards.
Concept of the quintesson. That's my other problem with season 3 too. Is that I cannot stand the quintesson origin for Transformers, and
it's the only origin to me that counts.
I love the quintessons.
So
I love the quintesson origin.
Oh yeah, I mean the quintessons. Never mind the origin. Like they added a much-needed third column to the show.
Yeah.
Oh, completely.
I mean, nearly every Transformers series that's come since has done something to add a third faction of opponents to some extent, just to mix it up and not have it be bots versus cons all the time, you know. And the quintessons were really the first big stab at doing that, and I think it was successful. I've always enjoyed them. I've always liked the quintessons, and I'm always happy to see more of them.
You're never going to see a Starseeker wizard, are you? No. No, the best thing about this is you
pirates might have a wizard.
You have the Autobot. You have the Autobot tapes. You have the Autobot tapes, and they do stuff.
Yes.
I will give it that. I will give it that.
Ramhorn cripples a hell of a lot of people, just cause. But he's doing something. And on the other hand, the thing that makes me the happiest most than anything else, you get Steeljaw the Lion, which always makes me happy. I love
think
Steeljaw.
this is like the only time Steeljaw, not the only time he ever appeared, but it's like, it's his big moment for the show, really.
He gets to sniff out the stupid boy. It's
He
brilliant.
sniffs out Daniel, yeah. I mean, Ramhorn got Forever Is a Long Time Coming, where he got to talk. That was his big thing.
Yes.
But this is kind of Steeljaw's moment, which is...
So you have Steeljaw the Lion. You've got him. You've got Ramhorn crippling people. You've got a Quintesson wizard. You've got Grimlock killing everything in a 5-mile radius just because he's told
he's
to.
killing anything. It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon.
He's killing things. You've got brilliant 80s fantasy concepts wandering around, like the wooden robots and that half-man, half-tree centaur things. Awesome. You've got the Golden Wizard, which is basically Magic Superman. It's awesome in every conceivable way. There isn't a bad thing I can say about this episode, except for it's not an hour and a half long.
I mean, I'm not a huge fantasy fan or anything. If something that I enjoy decides to piss around in Fantasyland for an episode, it's not a way to endear itself to me. But for whatever reason, I think it's because it's the fact that it's not just the Transformers trip and fall into Fantasyland. They're essentially going there and finding it overthrown by someone who's come through from their own world. You know, they just that little mixing of the worlds instead of here is an episode in which there are dragons or whatever, you know, something like that. Like it's the same way like Decepticon Raider in King Arthur's Court isn't some Autobots fall into the past and help defeat the local blackguard and then go home again. You know, they have Starscream overthrowing Wagon and all the rest of the stuff that goes on in that episode. Like Transformers was pretty good about not treat versions of these kinds of plots. Speaking of wizards, you know what else is really great about this episode? Like what is really, really great about this episode is like one of my favorite things, maybe the high point, and I was just talking about how brilliant he was in the last installment. We were talking about animated. Corey Burton's Red Wizard.
Oh yeah.
Is freaking... I mean, he is just giving it all that. Like, he is panto villain chewing the scenery. He is roaring and screaming and growling. I mean, there are a lot of good performances in the episode altogether, but I mean, the way Paul Eiding plays him when he's disguised as his pupil, and he plays the pupil as well, and he plays it differently in both ways, and you can tell it's evil over here and not over there. But no, Corey Burton's Mara Al-Hutha is... It's like the one episode, but it's one of like his high point performances in the whole Transformers cartoon, as far as I'm concerned, because it is so mental.
He doesn't as much chew the scenery as just turn up with a knife, fork, dinner plate and proceed to make sandwiches out of the castle. It is awesome.
Power enough to destroy you!
You get the film that he just sort of started tonking down the vodka before playing the role.
But Corey Burton was always a fantastic screamer. And it's like whenever Spike gets knocked off something or anything, it's like when he lets out a scream, you believe that they pushed the actor off something in the studio. Like, he does the most legitimate, genuine screams I think I've ever heard in animation. So whenever somebody goes mental and starts roaring and screaming, it's great. It's just, it is like one of the high points of the episode for me.
From the stories we've heard about Wally Burr, I would be very surprised if he wasn't pushing Corey Burton off things. He's there with the stuff stick. Get off.
Cool.
But the great thing about this episode is it does world building without ever letting you know that it's world building.
Yeah.
It builds up the fantasy world.
Extra bit about the Quintessons.
Exactly. I mean, even the bit at the very beginning where you've got the quite bizarre alien woman dignitary, and she does that strange colour change thing when she gets embarrassed. It's never drawn attention to, never mentioned, never explained. But you kind of work out that she's just changed the colour because she feels that she's embarrassed the spawn.
It's just a trait of her species, but it's just good. Like,
yeah. That's why I love season 3.
The rare times that we would actually see the Transformers doing this whole Peacekeepers of the Universe thing that they had for season 3. The only other time I can think of is what's it called? The Quintesson Journal. Whenever they host the they host the peace treaty, you know.
Well, you've got you've got the Five Faces of Darkness as well. That entire thing kicks off with the Universal Games.
Yeah, it's there too.
Yeah. I love season 3.
Yeah,
it's just a great broadening of the concept. It is.
Even when
I mean, it might as well be. You know, whenever you realize that Japan essentially marketed that as a sequel series rather than the next season of the existing show, you can see why. You know, 20-year time gap, entirely different setup, new characters. I know. I mean, I really enjoy season 3. Season 3 has a lot of my favorite episodes in it, and I mean, season 3 is obviously famous for being badly animated. And a lot of it is. But fully half that, you know, ACOM animate fully half the season. But then the other half contains, not all of them, but some of the very best animated episodes of the entire series are contained in that other half of this season. Dweller in the Depths. What else? Killing Jar is a great one. And this one is a really nice looking episode. It's just odd in that there's no shading anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, it's all flat.
Oh, yeah, I never noticed that.
Yeah,
it's entirely flat colors, but it still looks good. But it's just there's no shading anywhere, and it's really weird.
Yeah, I was looking Grimlock up on the parapets at one point and looking at all the solid blacks used to shade him, thinking, "Boy, we're looking Gynax today. What happened?"